It's what you gon' do, it's what you gon' do, it's what you gon' do.
Hello. I'm in a hot tub, like room, in Bend, Oregon of all places. And I've spent the last 2 weeks hanging out with 70 different strangers, and we've all come here. And I have a theory why we're all here at the same time for similar reasons. It involves bats, human connection, and like cellular devices. It'll make sense by the end of the video. Bear with me.
That gets you down, that always gets you down. Yeah, always come. But 5 short minutes left to just stand here on your own.
So basically, this whole theory of mine started when I was having a conversation about 7 or 8 months ago with a friend of mine, Danny Miranda. And the reason why this theory is so near and dear to my heart is because, I don't know, man, I think I've been lonely a lot of my life, whether it was in school, not ever really having a friend group. Yeah, I spent most of my life wishing I could click with people deeper, and it made me feel really alone. And that kind of sucked. We'll get to the bats. We'll get to the hypothesis. We'll get to the name of the theory. We'll get to why I'm here in Bend, Oregon. But we have to start where all this begins. I'm so tired.
From Europe, bro. This guy comes. Oh, baby. Let's get this shit.
I think we've all heard people say, kids are on their phone too much, phones are ruining this generation, people are more disconnected than they ever have been. There's a lot of rhetoric that paints social media and technology as this like evil force. And there's a lot of truth within that, but it creates this very binary perspective that I think isn't helpful in any capacity. And what I mean by that is, phones aren't bad. Technology isn't inherently bad. It's just a relationship with them that needs to be changed. But I think there's so much potential within the in-between. It's just we don't know what that in-between looks like. There's like no rules. We're still in the Wild West of the internet. But if one thing's for sure, our phones are here to stay. The internet is here to stay. Social media is here to stay. But I think trying to get rid of it isn't the solution. I think all the potential lies in how do we redefine our relationship with this technology in a way that actually amplifies our life and that actually enhances these things that are core to being a human being, like connection. And maybe all this is because I'm an optimist, but also maybe I'm onto something.
Talk to me about how community has played an important role in your life, and particularly like how the community that has come to you and that you've built, like how does somebody be 19 years old and have the best friends in the world and be so grateful? And like if I had that at 19, I would be like, damn.
Stop, pause. I have a confession to make. Remember this clip from earlier? I didn't film this clip. So where did it come from, you might be wondering. Take a guess. Actually, I'll just tell you. It's from Storyblocks. And that leads me to letting you know I actually have another confession to make. I was in your exact shoes almost 3 years ago and was watching a Storyblocks sponsorship and decided to get it myself. Wanna know why? Well, with Storyblocks, you have access to unlimited downloads of royalty-free professional content for one predictable subscription cost. Storyblocks' library has over 1 million video files, templates, sound effects, images, and more, and honestly, I could go on and on and on and on. There's so many cool features, but I'll let you discover them for yourself. To get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/maxreisinger or click the link in the description.
Look at this. The mountains. Oh. I have such a good feeling about this week. There's certain things in life you literally never regret. Exercise and just like being super nice and loving someone. If you got both of those locked, you'll be doing alright. You'll be okay. Oh. That's so pretty. Oh my gosh. I haven't felt this free in a while. I feel like a child.
But basically this boils down to, okay, but then what? You know, this tech is here to stay. It's interwoven into the fabric of our society, but right now it doesn't seem to be having a good effect on people. So what are we supposed to do? Because no one's really functioning as a role model or telling us how to use these tools in a way to actually enhance our lives. So I suppose that takes us to chapter 2. What can we actually do? Wash your hands and expose them.
Everybody dressing black.
If we take back and we look at what we have these fundamental principles that make us human. You know, these principles that make up what human connection is, you know, the whole psychology and biology of it. It is good for us to connect. We are social beings, but we're living in a modern digital world. And it's kind of like this equation of math class of human is B plus X is technology equals Y. And we're trying to solve for this equation, but maybe there are other variables and it's difficult to know how to solve for it. But you can't just like get rid of X, you know? It's still part of the equation. But when I look at my life and how I've connected to folks, I think honestly preschool is probably the earliest memory I had of making friends or wanting to make friends or being unsure of if I was friends with someone or not friends with someone. But I think that whole process is, you know, hey, I'm sharing a little part of myself, whether it's a little bit of my personality, my goofy side, or I'm playing with you in a certain way, or maybe teasing you or flirting with you, and you either receive it or you don't, you know? You either receive it and you want to spend more time with me, and then we keep sharing more and more and more, or you don't and we go separate ways and I share with someone else. I guess what I'm trying to say here is, if you train a kid to communicate with a cellular device or tech through social media, through text, whatever it might be, it's kind of like a, you know, not artificial intelligence, but it's like a training model. Like if you grow up in this world, you learn how to communicate differently than any humans have before through these devices. And my hypothesis is that if you're good enough at this communication, I think there's the same probability that I would be friends with the same people that I would in person if I was on, you know, a different part of the earth from them and we're still communicating through our phones. Does that make sense? Like, I think the outcome is the same, even though it's a different mode of communication that we've never really had before as humans. We've never been able to communicate without being face to face. Like, that's what we're programmed and wired to do. But I think if we train ourselves well enough, we can almost replicate to like a 99 percentile, the same level of communication, close, which then opens up the world. That's what's really exciting about this, if this is like true, but that's just my hypothesis. This is just my thesis. Okay, let me continue explaining this.
So yeah, throughout high school, everything, I felt very isolated. I never had my like clique, and it was just like, is it me? Like, is something wrong with me? You know, the internet allows us to use some form of like emotional or like energetic echolocation. Dude, that is a brilliant concept. Of like, when I post a video, I'm sharing my views and ideas and energy out with the world, and the algorithm is like really complex and incredible, where like people who resonate with that come back.
And you use the internet to, one, understand yourself better, and two, find people who understand you. And if you think about it, it's like, what are the odds that the people that resonate most with you are going to be in your geographical location? Like
8 billion of us. 8 billion amazing, interesting, and unique people who all live together on this planet we call Earth. And yes, you, watching this right now, well, you're one of them. See, before in history, if you wanted something, you had to go down a traditional route. Want to find friends who are doing similar things to you? Make it as a singer, writer, or actor, or try to create a life centered around something you actually
give a damn about.
Well, I'm sorry, but the answer is
No can do.
But that was a different time, an old time, one ingrained in the history books, and right here, right now, we're in a new time. And it just so happens to be the most interconnected time in the history of our planet. And you too can take advantage of it. It's not about being famous or making money. It's evolution. It's about viewing the internet as a shiny new tool which can make your life way better. A tool to connect us, to educate us, to make new friends and build new communities which would have never existed otherwise. You start off slow and normally alone. And your first post is normally pretty painful, but thankfully not many people will see it. But over time, for those who keep going and don't give up and keep pressing publish, well, eventually their signals start to beam, stronger and stronger. Until one day you turn back and realize you're in a completely different place, surrounded by all different people, but all people that get you, people that you click with. Create, upload, share, connect. This decentralized formula has the power to change all of our lives. So with 8 billion people in the world all looking for their own community and people that they connect with, you might just be surprised if you start putting yourself out there. You might just end up in Bend, Oregon with 70 other creators all on a similar path to you.
Dude, the chicken is so fire. Chicken.
Full moon, outside on a wager. I just wanna settle in and figure out the little things. But I'll find you outside if it's right. Well, I could do a favor. Well, we're running round and losing our place. But lately I've been trying to figure out why we both settled down and why I don't see you outside. Old blues at the fader. And maybe it's a lot to think about, every word from your mouth, and why it's all old news printed front page of the paper. If everything is fine, I'll be outside, I'll be on my way. Pray I'm looking in your eyes when we're outside, kissing in the rain. Hoping we don't say goodbye for the last time when I'm wide awake. But I'm missing you all for the last time, missing your face.
And I didn't forget about the bats. That cave scene that we were in, yeah, there were a bunch of bats in there. And that was a metaphor for everyone who came to Basecamp, all the creators, artists, musicians, tech founders. They all put parts of themselves out there into the world. And all those signals that came out resonated with us. And that's why it's no accident that everyone at Basecamp was there for a reason. So yeah, that's energetic echolocation. Feel free to try it out sometime.